Breaking down a pig is pretty quick. It kind of depends on what your end goal is and what cuts you want to get out of it. Start to finish, under half an hour. Hi, I'm Jered. We're at Standing's Butchery in Los Angeles, California. Really, there is only one tool you need, and that's a good boning knife. You could literally do everything with just this. There are some tools that make certain cuts look a little cleaner or make some things a little easier, but if I had to take down an entire beef with this, it could be done. This is a semi-flexible boning knife. It's by Victorinox. It's not anything fancy. This one I just want for everyday use, and actually you can tell it was about twice as wide. Kind of sharpen it almost every day, but it's a nice soft steel, so it sharpens quick, and it's got a little bit of a flex on it, so it's really versatile. If you have to have this one, this can be used for everything. And I like the wood handle. I just like the feel of the wood handle. I have been using this particular type of knife for as far back as I can really remember. I probably get a new one every 6 months. You'll notice this murderous looking grip is actually a traditional butcher's grip. This gives me a lot of control, especially if I can choke up on the blade like that. We always want to knife cut through meat and saw through bone, and we don't want to saw through the meat because it's not a clean cut. It just tears, which gives a lot of little tiny micro abrasions in places for bacteria to grow. Also does not give you a nice even sear when cooking. This is a bone saw. This is one of the tools I was talking about that will make some things easier. If I were just using a knife, I'd have to cut around bones. This will get through some of them the way a knife can't. Up in the shoulder, there's a lot more bone to contend with here, and that's when I want to get the saw out and use that. Also going at a slightly different angle than I usually would. And this saw works so well. This particular one though, this is Wusthof, and it costs 3 or 4 times what the usual bone saw is, and it is 1,000,000% worth the extra cost. It's so good. It just feels like solid in your hand. It's heavy. I like the little wing nut on the blade here because you can tighten it if it's like giving you a little too much wiggle. I don't even know exactly where to point at what makes it better, but it's just all around way, way better than any other one I've used. This tool, it's not specific to me. This is actually going to be known by barbecue competition guys and people who roast whole pigs. It's not a common retail thing. And it's just your basic like utility knife. I like these ones because they can click up. A certain amount of the blade is exposed, and I use this for scoring pigskin. I can get a knife really sharp, but not as sharp as a brand new razor blade. Pigskin is tough and it's hard to get through. The other thing is I can click the blade up to just the height I need, so I'm not going too far into the fat, or worse, not getting into the meat. Just super even scoring, which is like a nice little trick for doing that. The other, arguably most important tool here is the grinder. That's really the workhorse of this whole place. Sausage, burgers, everything revolves around that. We could not do what we do without that. This is our sausage stuffer, and this is where we make/save all of our money. Being able to make sausage, and especially being able to make sausage that people really love and people get excited about and come in, because we do new flavors every week. This allows us to bring in whole pigs and whole lamb and whole beef quarters and know that we're not gonna have any waste because everything can be turned into sausage. When we cut chops and stuff, there's always like little scraps and things that are left over. They can all get seasoned up and run through this guy. And we just do it, again, by hand. They make these automatic ones, but I like cranking them out by hand like this. Load up our sausage stuffer. Bring this down just to where this starts coming out, and then we'll get the casings on there. These are natural hog casings, which is the intestine. It also fits with the nose to tail, just using the entire animal principle. So we got that loaded on. We'll tie it off. This is something that you have to do a good number of times before you get this timing down, where these don't break or come out too fast or too slow. Just a repetition, because there's a lot of feel involved. There's a lot of little micro adjustments you have to make. This is not one of our featured tools, but this is a sausage pricker, and it gets these air bubbles out. And we'll just twist these off real quick, and I know that a lot of people do this differently, but being to some degree self-taught, I just do some things differently than others. Yeah, and then see that, so then we can just like hang in the walk-in overnight and it'll get nice and dry. The main principles we hold at my shop, it's really animal welfare above everything else. So we want raised on pasture, species appropriate diet, reducing our carbon footprint, and then also to make sure we're using everything, because zero waste is very, very important to us. Making sausages is a big part of that zero waste. Thanks for coming by and letting me show you my favorite tools and what we do here at the shop.